Hello everyone, welcome back to Elite Tales. Here we discover the emotional and captivating stories about Elon Musk. In this video, we will capture the heartwarming moments of famous entrepreneur. Before we begin, I request you that please subscribe our channel for more interesting videos. The sky was dark with ash, the air heavy with the smell of smoke and burning debris. California's deadliest wildfire had left the land scarred, destroying homes, memories, and entire communities. The devastation was unimaginable, with families searching through rubble for anything that remained. Among the wreckage, one structure stood untouched, a $9 million mansion that had miraculously survived the flames. Elon Musk watched the news coverage in silence. The sight of the lone mansion surrounded by ash wasn't just strange, it was a symbol of hope. For a man dedicated to innovation and sustainability, this wasn't just about survival. It was about understanding why one home had endured when everything else had fallen. When he arrived in Paradise, the town where the fire had caused the most destruction, Elon felt the weight of the tragedy around him. Charred trees stood like ghosts, and the silence of what was once a thriving community was deafening. Families gathered in shelters, sharing stories of what they had lost. Despite the devastation, their resilience was evident in their eyes. Elon wasn't there as a billionaire or a tech mogul. He was there to learn, to see firsthand what had gone wrong and how it could be prevented in the future. He visited the mansion that had survived, walking through its untouched walls. The property had been designed with fire-resistant materials, solar energy, and advanced water systems. It wasn't luck that had saved it. It was science and preparation. The owner of the mansion, a retired engineer, explained the choices he had made while building the house. "When I built this place, I wanted it to be a fortress against anything nature could throw at it," he said, his voice filled with both pride and sorrow. "But I never imagined it would be tested like this." Elon listened carefully, his mind racing. If one home could survive such devastation, why couldn't entire communities be built with the same principles? It wasn't just about protecting luxury homes. It was about giving everyone the tools to withstand the challenges of a changing world. He spent days meeting with residents who had lost everything. A mother of two showed him a photograph, the only thing she had salvaged from her home. "This is all I have left," she said, her voice trembling. "But we'll rebuild. We have to." Her words stuck with Elon. He thought about his work with Tesla, SpaceX, and solar energy. He had always focused on the future: electric cars, Mars colonization, renewable energy. But here, in the ruins of Paradise, the future felt fragile. Elon gathered his team and proposed an idea. What if we rebuild Paradise? Not just as it was, but better. Fire-resistant homes, renewable energy, sustainable water systems. A model for the future. At first, there was hesitation. The scope of such a project was enormous. But Elon's determination was infectious. "This isn't just about one town," he said. "This is about proving that we can adapt, that we can thrive, even in the face of climate change." The project began with the community's involvement. Elon didn't want to impose his vision. He wanted to work alongside the people of Paradise. Architects, engineers, and local leaders came together to design homes that were both beautiful and resilient. The mansion that had survived the fire became a blueprint for what was possible. Elon often visited the site, speaking with construction workers, families, and volunteers. He met a young boy named Caleb, who was helping his father clear debris from their old property. "Do you think we'll ever feel safe here again?" Caleb asked, his voice full of uncertainty. Elon knelt down, looking the boy in the eye. "We're going to make this town safer than it's ever been," he promised. The rebuilding effort wasn't just about homes. Elon's team installed solar grids to provide sustainable energy, created underground water reservoirs for emergencies, and planted fire-resistant vegetation. Schools, libraries, and community centers were built, designed to be gathering places in times of crisis. Months turned into years, and Paradise began to transform. The scars of the fire remained, but they were overshadowed by the spirit of resilience and innovation. Families moved into their new homes, built not just to survive but to thrive. Everywhere they went, asteroids and volcanoes collided with populations. Caleb's family was one of the first to return. Their new house had solar panels, a rainwater collection system, and walls made of fire-resistant concrete. Caleb ran through the house, laughing, his earlier fear replaced by hope. Elon visited their home during a community celebration. He stood quietly, watching as people shared food, laughter, and stories of perseverance. A woman approached him, her eyes filled with gratitude. "You didn't just rebuild our town," she said. "You gave us a future." For Elon, this wasn't just another project. It was a reminder of why he did what he did. The work wasn't about fame or fortune. It was about creating a world where people could thrive, even in the face of adversity. As he stood on a hill overlooking paradise, the sun setting behind the rebuilt town, Elon felt a sense of peace. The mansion that had survived the fire was still there, a testament to resilience. But now, it was no longer alone. Paradise wasn't just a town. It was a symbol of what humanity could achieve when faced with challenges. It was a reminder that from ashes, opportunity could rise. And as Elon left the town that evening, he carried with him a renewed sense of purpose, ready to tackle whatever came next. As Elon drove away from paradise, his mind was alive with thoughts of what the town represented. It wasn't just about the innovative homes or the sustainable systems. They were important, of course, but it was about the spirit of the people who had endured unimaginable loss and chosen to rebuild with hope. Weeks later, Elon found himself back in his office, staring at a whiteboard covered with ideas. Paradise had inspired something bigger within him. The project wasn't just a solution for one town. It was a model for the world. What if communities everywhere could be designed to withstand the challenges of climate change and natural disasters? What if they could become self-sustaining, resilient, and adaptable? He reached out to his team. "We're going to scale this," he announced. "Not just in California, but globally. We'll create a blueprint for disaster-proof, sustainable communities and make it accessible to everyone." The idea was ambitious, even for Elon. His team worked tirelessly, refining designs and technologies, ensuring they could be adapted to different climates and needs. Partnerships were formed with governments, NGOs, and local leaders worldwide. The goal wasn't just to rebuild, but to reimagine how communities could function, how they could live in harmony with the planet while protecting their people. As the project expanded, Elon often returned to paradise. He didn't come as a billionaire or a celebrity, but as someone who had grown deeply connected to the town and its people. He walked the streets, now filled with life and laughter, and listened to the stories of those who had come back. One day, Caleb, the boy who had asked if they'd ever feel safe again, approached Elon with a handmade card. "This is for you," he said, his face beaming with pride. Elon opened the card to find a simple drawing, a house surrounded by trees, with the words, "Thank you for helping us rebuild," written in a child's careful handwriting. Touched, Elon knelt down and smiled. "This is the best thing I've ever received," he said sincerely. Paradise had become a symbol not just for its residents, but for the world. People traveled from far and wide to see what had been accomplished. The town hosted conferences on sustainable living and disaster preparedness, sharing its story and solutions with others facing similar challenges. Elon often stood quietly at these events, watching the connections being made and the ideas being exchanged. He knew that the real success wasn't in the technology or the buildings, it was in the hope that had been restored and the inspiration it had sparked. Years later, on the anniversary of the fire, the town held a special ceremony. Residents gathered in the town square where a monument had been erected. It was a simple structure, inscribed with the words, "From ashes we rise." Elon was invited to speak, but he hesitated. This wasn't his moment. It belonged to the people of paradise. Instead, he stood among them, listening as survivors shared their stories of loss, resilience, and triumph. As the ceremony ended, a woman approached him. Her face was lined with age and sorrow, but her eyes shone with gratitude. "You didn't just rebuild a town," she said softly. You reminded us what we're capable of. You gave us hope." Elon nodded, humbled. "You're the ones who made this possible. I just helped a little." That night, as he walked through the town, he reflected on how far they had all come. The mansion that had survived the fire was still there, now part of a thriving community that had risen from the ashes. It stood as a reminder of what was possible when innovation and humanity came together. For Elon, Paradise was more than a project or a success story. It was a testament to the power of resilience, collaboration, and the human spirit. And as he looked up at the stars that night, he knew that this was only the beginning. There were more challenges to face, more communities to help, and more dreams to pursue. But for now, he allowed himself a moment of quiet gratitude. From the ashes of destruction, they had built something extraordinary. And that, he thought, was the real meaning of progress. Elon stayed in Paradise longer that night than he intended. He walked its streets, now full of vibrant life. Children played in yards, laughter echoed from open windows, and people gathered in small groups, chatting as if the fire had been a distant nightmare. Yet the memories of that tragic day were not forgotten. They lived in the hearts of everyone who had survived and rebuilt. He turned to the 4-year-old. He was still startled by the sight and hearing. As he strolled past one of the new community centers, he noticed a mural painted along its side. It depicted flames consuming the town, but rising from the ashes were vibrant trees, flowers, and homes. At the center of the mural was the outline of a family holding hands, with the words, "Together we rise." A sense of pride welled up in Elon's chest, not for himself, but for what humanity could achieve when united. He thought about the countless people who had come together to make this transformation possible. It wasn't his wealth or technology alone. It was the determination and spirit of those who had lost everything and still chose to rebuild. As he turned a corner, he heard familiar voices calling out. Caleb and his family stood outside their new home, waving him over. Caleb held a small model rocket in his hands, and his face lit up when Elon approached. "Look what I built," Caleb exclaimed, holding up the intricately crafted rocket. "That's incredible," Elon said, kneeling to examine it. "Did you make this all by yourself?" "My dad helped a little," Caleb admitted with a shy grin. "But I want to build real rockets one day, like you do." Elon smiled. "Well, if you keep working this hard, I have no doubt you'll be building rockets even better than mine." Caleb's father stepped forward, extending his hand. "You've done so much for us," he said sincerely. "I don't know how we can ever thank you." Elon shook his head. "You don't need to thank me. Seeing all of this, seeing you all happy and thriving, that's more than enough." Before leaving, Caleb's mother offered Elon a plate of homemade cookies. "Take these for the road," she said with a warm smile. As Elon made his way back to his car, the plate of cookies in hand, he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. His mind, always racing with ideas and possibilities, was unusually calm. The town of Paradise, once a place of despair, had become a beacon of hope. Driving away, Elon thought about the larger implications of what they had achieved. Paradise was proof that humanity could adapt and overcome even the greatest challenges. It was a reminder that technology wasn't just about innovation. It was about using that innovation to uplift people and improve lives. In the months that followed, Paradise continued to thrive. Its story spread far and wide, inspiring other communities to embrace sustainability and resilience. Towns in other parts of the world, affected by floods, hurricanes, and wildfires, began to adopt similar models. Elon made sure to stay involved, though he preferred to work behind the scenes. He supported research on fire-resistant materials, funded renewable energy initiatives, and advocated for policies that encouraged sustainable development. He knew there was still much to do, but the progress they had made gave him hope for the future. Years later, during a global summit on climate resilience, Paradise was highlighted as a case study. Leaders from around the world praised its transformation, and residents shared their experiences. Elon sat quietly in the audience, listening as Caleb, now a young adult, took the stage. "Hey," which Caleb spoke about his journey, from the days of fear and uncertainty to the pride of living in a town rebuilt with purpose. "Paradise taught me that even in the darkest times, we can find light," he said. "We can rebuild, not just what we lost, but something even better. And that's a lesson I'll carry with me for the rest of my life." The Christmas tree was in the back of the whole place, and I didn't notice. It just wasn't part of my attention, but I appreciate the people all across the street for the rest of my life. As the audience erupted into applause, Elon felt tears welling up in his eyes. Caleb's words were a reflection of everything he had hoped to achieve. It wasn't just about the technology or the rebuilding. It was about inspiring people to believe in the impossible. Later that evening, as he gazed at the night sky, Elon thought about the stars he had spent his life chasing. For the first time, he realized that sometimes the most profound journeys weren't out there in the universe, but here on Earth, in the hearts of people who refused to give up. From ashes, they had built more than a town. They had built a legacy. And in that legacy, Elon saw the future. Not just for Paradise, but for the world. The legacy of Paradise continued to grow, weaving itself into a global narrative of resilience and renewal. Communities across the world looked to the small California town as a model for how to rebuild in the wake of disaster. But for Elon Musk, Paradise was more than just an example. It was a deeply personal reminder of what could be achieved when innovation met the human spirit. In the years that followed, Elon expanded the principles used in Paradise into a global initiative. Through partnerships with organizations like the United Nations, his team launched Resilient Futures, a program aimed at transforming disaster-prone areas into sustainable, self-sufficient communities. It wasn't just about rebuilding homes. It was about creating ecosystems that could endure, adapt, and thrive under the pressures of a changing planet. Elon's vision wasn't without its challenges. Skeptics questioned whether such transformations could be scaled globally. Governments, bogged down by bureaucracy, were slow to act. But Elon was undeterred. He believed in action, not just words. One of the first global projects was in a small coastal town in the Philippines, which had been ravaged by typhoons year after year. Inspired by Paradise, the town's reconstruction included flood-resistant homes, elevated structures, and microgrids powered by solar and wind energy. Elon visited the site multiple times, connecting with the people, listening to their needs, and refining solutions with his team. During one of these visits, he met Maria, a teacher who had lost her school to the storms. "We used to live in fear every time the skies darkened," Maria told him. "But now, our children can study without worrying if their school will still be standing tomorrow. You've given us more than buildings. You've given us peace of mind." Her words stayed with Elon. He realized that beyond the technology and engineering, the true success of these projects was measured by the lives they touched and the hope they restored. Back in Paradise, life continued to flourish. The town had become a hub for innovation, attracting scientists, engineers, and students who wanted to learn from its transformation. Caleb, now studying engineering at a top university, often returned to volunteer in the community that had shaped him. One summer, Caleb invited Elon to a local event celebrating the anniversary of the town's rebirth. It was a simple gathering, with food, music, and laughter filling the air. As the sun set, the community unveiled a new addition to the mural on the town's community center. It depicted the Earth cradled in hands, surrounded by symbols of sustainability, wind turbines, solar panels, and green fields. At the bottom it read, "A brighter future begins with us." Elon stood before the mural, his heart full. Caleb approached him, holding a small box. "We wanted to give you something," he said, handing it over. Inside was a model of Paradise, intricately detailed, with tiny homes, solar panels, and the mural painted on the community center. "This is how we see our town now," Caleb said. "Not just as a place that survived, but as a place that leads." Elon was moved beyond words. He looked at Caleb and the crowd that had gathered around them. "You all are the real leaders," he said, his voice steady but full of emotion. "You've shown the world what's possible when people refuse to give up. I'm honored to have been a small part of your journey." As the evening wound down, Elon found a quiet spot overlooking the town. He thought about all they had accomplished, not just in paradise, but in the countless communities inspired by its story. He knew the road ahead was still long. There were still challenges to face, battles to fight, and innovations to create. But tonight, he allowed himself to simply marvel at what they had built together. Nature. In the ashes of tragedy, they had found opportunity. And through opportunity, they had created hope. Paradise wasn't just a town. It was a testament to what humanity could achieve when it worked together. And for Elon, it was a reminder that the future wasn't something to fear. It was something to build, one step at a time. As he gazed up at the stars, he smiled. The universe still held mysteries he longed to uncover, but tonight, the greatest story of all was right here on Earth. Thank you for joining us on this heartfelt journey through resilience and innovation. Elon Musk's vision for a better world, inspired by the tragedy and rebirth of paradise, reminds us of the incredible potential we hold when we unite to overcome adversity. If you believe in the power of rebuilding stronger and creating a sustainable future, don't forget to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories. Together, we can turn challenges into opportunities and build a brighter tomorrow.